Number one complaint that I hear from my single friends who are dating and from my married friends who are married is that guys talk about themselves so much and they don't ask good questions, which is a damn shame because asking a good question is an art form that has completely gone out of style. Now, I'm not saying that women are any better at asking good questions than men are, but honestly, we're not talking about them. We're talking about you. And in this video, I am going to teach you how to ask a magnificent question, which if you are thinking, Kaylin, please explain to me how I'm gonna go from asking a great question to getting my dick wet, stay tuned. I will explain everything that you need to know. Most of us, when we're in conversation with someone else, we're too busy thinking about what we're gonna say next, or for you, probably what you're gonna comment at the bottom of this video. Very few of us are listening so intently to the person who's talking that we are able to ask a deep, insightful, sincere question as a follow-up. And let me tell you, asking a deep, insightful, and sincere question gets panties moist. And this is something women would never tell you, honestly, because it's something that we are not able to articulate. We just feel like put off, miffed, sad that we didn't get to share. You know what? You probably feel that way too. And you probably also know, or at least can guess, that it is not as simple as just asking questions. Because if you ask the wrong question, or worse, you ask a question that you were not ready to hear the answer to, well, you've got another thing coming. And that other thing is dry panties. And that's why we need to talk about asking the right questions, because asking the right questions is the difference between playing 7 minutes in heaven and leaving the date dry and sexless, or whatever the adult equivalent, 70 minutes in the bedroom, whatever, you're an adult, so don't need to make out in a closet. But honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you, it sounds appealing. The reason that this works is that, number one, people love to talk about themselves. And number two, questions bring about closeness and intimacy. Questions show that you're curious, that you care, that you're interested, that you're listening when your partner is speaking. And this is as true in a long-term relationship as it is with a new partner. Especially if you have been together for a while, you've probably forgotten to ask deep questions. You probably think that you already know the answer to all of the questions, and I'm telling you, leaving space for surprise, for spontaneity, for your partner to show up new. I mean, they're not the same person that you got with 5, 6, 7, 10, 15, 20 years ago. Honestly, I'm not even the same woman that my husband woke up with this morning, okay? Don't make the mistake of thinking that question asking or the mastery of great questions is for people who are in new relationships only. One of the things that most male coaches get wrong is they will tell you what to say. They think that seduction is about saying the right thing at the right time and being charismatic or charming or dazzling her with your words or your clever pickup lines or whatever it is. And that's honestly fucking nonsense. Seduction is about knowing what to ask. Because if you're gonna seduce someone and you don't know anything about them, how the are you gonna seduce them? In order to seduce someone, you need to know what they like, what they don't like, what they're into, what they're repulsed by. And if you don't ask questions, how are you gonna pick up on any of that? You're too busy talking about yourself. You will not be able to plan to get her into bed because all you'll know at the end of the conversation is more, maybe, best case scenario, about yourself. Okay, I think I've made my point. So in this video, I am going to share with you how to come up with excellent questions on the spot, how to use them for seducing your partner, and I'm gonna give you my tips for using questions in conversations, because obviously you can't just go in there and question. You gotta work it into the overall flow of the communication between you. And at the end of that, I'm gonna share with you my secret source of questions that specifically leads to hot, steamy, sexy encounters. Without further ado, here's how to ask questions in order to get laid or develop deeper intimacy, whatever flavor you're feeling that evening. Number one, subject matter. Ideally, nothing is off limits, and the more specific you can make a question, the better. What do you do for a living? The subject matter is like your career. It's not very interesting, right? It doesn't show a deep level of interest. It's something that you could ask literally anyone. But when you have a subject matter that the person you're conversing with has a lot of interest in, and you don't, you can ask some really interesting questions on that subject in particular. Maybe this person works at the aquarium and you want to ask them a bunch of questions about octopus. Octopi? octopuses. Show interest in subjects that they show interest in. So maybe this person works at a zoo, but they absolutely hate it. Maybe don't go down that line of questioning and instead ask them what thrills them, how they would like to spend their time, what they would do if any career path was open to them, what would they enjoy spending their days doing. Now you want to ask the person who you're on a date with questions about things that they have interest and maybe even experience with. Avoid subjects that they don't know much about because you're going to make them look foolish or you might just bore them. Either way, not a good look. Number 2, depth. Remember that some topics are inherently a little bit deeper than others, like death, family challenges, childhood traumas, assaults, accidents, physical pain, previous relationships. You may want to avoid those, especially on your first couple dates. But most topics are neither inherently shallow or deep. I mean, take our aquarium example. I can ask you shallow questions. How many visitors does the aquarium get? What kind of a tour do you have? Do you have bottlenose dolphins? Or you could ask a little bit of a deeper question, like which animal is your favorite? What's their name? Why do you love them so much? What's their diet like? You can dive deep on any level. Also, ideally, you will vary your questions to include both light and deep questions. So, like, what do you do? What are you passionate about? Is like a pretty light question. But then when someone tells you like playing the oboe, you can ask a lot of deep questions on that subject before bringing it back up to lightness and starting over again on a different subject. Number 3, directness. Some questions are best spoken directly. What's your favorite place to vacation? But a lot of subjects are best approached indirectly. So instead of asking her why she got divorced, maybe say, hey, I saw that you had kids from your previous marriage on your profile. Like, what's your relationship like with their dad? It's a way better question. It's an indirect way of getting to the information that you actually need to know in order to determine if you want to continue to pursue a relationship with the person in front of you. And by the way, the same is true for someone that you've been married to for a while. Sometimes you should ask a direct question like, where do you want to go for dinner? Other times an indirect question is better, like what kind of a date would get you really excited? Finally, tone. Playful, joking, bashful, sincere, challenging, switch it up. Too many questions in one tone of voice will put your partner on the defense or maybe best case scenario, make them bored. You don't want to actually make someone feel like they're having to explain themselves. You want to ask some questions from a sort of like charming and lighthearted perspective and some that show that you can be deep and serious at the same time. So now that we've discussed the elements of a great question, let's talk about how to succeed at asking questions inside of a conversation. Number 1, every so often, make sure that you're sharing about yourself. You do not want this to feel like an interrogation. You want to break up the rhythm and allow them to focus on you for a while. This will bring their attention off of themselves and put it out onto you, and it will keep the flow of conversation going. Ask them a question or two, answer one yourself, but then immediately go back to asking them more. This will help them know that you're interested. Number 2, don't agree with everything they say. This is true for you husbands as well as you boyfriends out there. Do not agree with everything that she says. Challenge her, poke a little fun at her. A good ratio is maybe 80% agreement and 20% challenge and pushback. No one really wants someone to say yes to us all the time, even if at first it feels that way. And so make sure that you're teasing her and playing with her a little bit. Like, oh my God, I can't believe that that's your favorite rapper. Like, have you never even listened to Kanye? Just be playful. Number 3, keep eye contact, nod and vocalize. This is how someone knows that you're listening to them. If I ask you a question and then I just like stare off into space while you're answering, and then I ask you another question, you're gonna feel like I really wasn't listening, right? And maybe I didn't even have any interest in your answer. So when I keep present with you, and as you're answering, I'm nodding, and I'm going, yeah. Oh. It lets you know that the person you're talking to is paying attention to you. Now, you don't have to be perfect. We all lose focus. Our mind wanders. That's okay. Take a breath, bring your focus right back to the conversation. You could even say something like, I'm sorry, something that you said just brought back a funny memory. Could you repeat that? Super simple, helps you to stay invested, helps them to know what's going on in here. Next, study them closely. This is what seduction is all about. Look for what lights this person up. Ask them questions about that subject. When you see someone really like their eyes sparkle and they lean forward and they take a deep breath because they're just so excited to share with you that they know everything about American Idol season 1, ask them questions that allow them to share that passion, that curiosity, that enjoyment with them. Is American Idol the one that Kelly Clarkson won? Yeah, that's American Idol. See, that's a great question. That's actually not a great question. Asking questions is hard, and even with these instructions, you might still mess it up. And that is why I created something very special. If you want questions that are specifically designed for intimacy, check out Spark. This is a deck of 140 questions plus 10 video prompts that I created myself just to help you have enhanced conversations, deeper intimacy, more attraction, and better communications, whether you've known each other for a day or you've been married for 20 years, which come in this beautiful box. You will have not just an opportunity to ask each other great questions, but at the bottom of each one is a Caitlin's comment section where I share from my perspective as a sex and relationship coach that has worked with literally thousands of customers, how to apply this question, how to have a great conversation with it, and how to discover new and uncharted territory together, but from a place of relational safety and vulnerability, because that's what asking questions is all about. With this Spark Deck, you will get an opportunity to learn more about each other in a way that actually creates deeper connection, more meaningful attraction between the two of you. I've had a couple clients test these out. I've had couples that were together for 20 years use this to revitalize their marriage, add a spark back into their bedroom, and have the greatest intimacy that they have ever had. I've also had plenty of people take them on very first dates, and I will tell you, in the words of my roommate, it works. So check this out. This is my shortcut for asking questions, 140 questions plus 10 video prompts, so that you don't have to think about the next question. You can just pull it out of the box and explore together. I'm Caitlin V. You can buy the Spark Deck at 10night.co. Thank you so much for tuning in and subscribing to my YouTube channel. I will see you here next week. Bye-bye.